Hi, my name is Greg Elog. In my demonstration speech, I'm going to tell you how to draft a championship fantasy football team. Well, it's week 15 of the NFL season, and for most of you in fantasy football, that means it's the playoffs. It's the winner go home type scenario, nitty gritty. So you might say, if you lose this week, you're out of the money, and you have to wait till next season to draft your team then. Well, I'm going to tell you, because all my 3 fantasy teams are still alive right now, I'm going to show you how to produce a team that will make it this deep into the playoffs. First, I just say get supplies. Before you go to your draft, I recommend you go get a fantasy football magazine. I tried to get a fantasy football magazine. They're off the shelves because it was so long ago. So I just printed off something off the internet. It's just a basic ranking system. This right here is just quarterbacks, 1 through 25. And then we got some running backs in here too. Boom. Running backs, just a basic. You can go anywhere. Google, Yahoo, fantasy cheat sheets. Any of those are good enough. I just use it for the names, just so I can put together my own list, which is supply number 2. You need a notebook to jot down notes on players you might draft. 3, I always say a variety of marking devices. I prefer a pencil. A lot of people just do pens, take pens to the draft, but I got a pen, a Sharpie, a highlighter. I'll tell you why later, why I choose these marking devices. Now that we've collected all of our materials, we can create our championship fantasy football team. Step 2, I said do your research. Top players, each position. Like I said, you have a sheet. This is going to list all your quarterbacks, all your running backs. Like I said, you get a magazine. It's going to give a detailed description of each player, kind of like the who's who of position players in the NFL. I would read your league scoring guides to start with, just to determine what position is of highest need. Most fantasy football leagues, I would say running back, because there's multiple, but anymore I see leagues where there's 2 quarterbacks. So if there's a 2 quarterback league, you kind of want to draft one in the first round with your first pick. Just go check your league scoring, see how that goes. I personally see, like I said, I take this. What do I take this. I make my own sheet. I take my notebook and I go through and I rank 1 through 20. I do my own rankings 1 through 20 in each position, and I do an overall 1 through 100, just so I know what my personal feelings for the fantasy football draft. I always look through the sheets, find rookies, find players coming off injury. Another couple things I look at: age, schedule, previous stats, what have you done for me lately type things, what division they play in. Honestly, out of all the things, it's like, what have you done for me lately? Just a prime example, Adrian Peterson this year is going off. And last year he was hurt, tore his ACL at the end of the year, had a bad season, fell in a lot of drafts. Next year he'll be 1 or 2. You have to look back to prior years at what he's done. I use a highlighter. See, this is what I do. Like I list my guys 1 through 20, and the highlighter is for guys that could break out. Example of that, Reggie Wayne. I highlighted him everything this year because he had a new rookie quarterback. It's a whole different spotlight for him. Well, he's like the 4th leading scorer in wide receivers this year. So just example, I go through and I usually highlight rookies. Like I said, any player that I think is going to have a good year, and it could be for a vast variety of reasons. Maybe they got a new offensive coordinator. Maybe they got traded to a team that's more, fitting their style. I don't know. Basically whatever. Now that we have our list made, I'm going to show you how to prepare for your late season run. The third step is after your draft has started, you'll have a draft position, and you want to set up your game plan based on where you'll be picking in the draft. So say you're in a 10-team league and you draw the eighth pick. So you'll be drafting 8th and then around the 13th. So you got 8, 13 because it usually goes 1 through 10 and then reverse 10 back to 1 every round. So like I said, try to set up a plan on that. Quarterbacks are usually drafted first, and it's just because they're the pretty boys in the NFL. So 1, 2, 3 usually quarterbacks. I wouldn't draft though, honestly. Besides like the elite 3 to 5 quarterbacks, even think about them in the first round. You have to pay attention to people's bye weeks. You can't draft 2 running backs that have the same bye week, because then you'll have to maybe drop one of them to get somebody else. Put a little emphasis on defense and kickers. Draft them late. Say you got 16 rounds in your draft, I would draft a kicker in the 13th and a defense in the 14th, because those 2 spots can interchange every week. It doesn't matter because teams play different teams, so they're going to be projected differently. My personal favorite, running backs. Running backs are a fantasy football player's best friend. Load up on them. They get the ball. They get the most touches, so they're going to score the most points. And lastly, with that, no homer picks. We're from Nebraska, so Alex Henry's out there. You're not going to draft him in the 2nd or 3rd round because he's a kicker, and kickers are a dime a dozen. So I'm going to go back over this. 3 steps to drafting a championship football team. Get your supplies, do your research, set up a game plan. The best part about fantasy football leagues is you don't have to be a huge football fan to play. You might not even like football, but you find excitement in competing with family, friends, and coworkers on a weekly basis. For bragging rights, that's my favorite thing. That's why I play. I don't play for the money. I play because I like to have those bragging rights for a year after I win the league. But yeah, a lot of you guys play for that extra few dollars you might win at the end of the season. Thanks.